What is going on, everybody? We are about to get into the breakdown and predictions for UFC 260, Miocic vs. Ngannou 2. But before we do, make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe button, and notification bell. Don't be a baby back bagel biting blue pill beta male because you know what time it is. It's full time MMA. All right, let's get into it. UFC 260, Miocic vs. Ngannou 2. This is going to be the biggest, baddest rematch. No, this is going to be a good fight. There was going to be two title fights on this card. We had Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega, but Alexander Volkanovski tested positive for the COVID, so he had to quarantine out of his title fight, and we lost that fight on this card. But don't fret, we've still got former champion Tyron Woodley taking on Vicente Luque. Also, we've got our boy Sean O'Malley taking on Thomas Almeida, and we've now got Jillian Robertson versus Miranda Maverick added to the pay-per-view, and then we've got some malarkey. We got Jamie Malarkey versus Kama Worthy on the pay-per-view, which that's probably one of the least pay-per-view worthy fights that we've had on the pay-per-view in quite a while. And this was actually even on the card before we lost the title fight. Like, it's not a pay-per-view UFC worthy. If you're asking for like $69 for a pay-per-view and you're gonna put this malarkey on there, no pun intended, but these dudes are not really UFC caliber, honestly. But hey, hopefully we'll get a finish and it'll be a good fight. Conor Worthy has beat a couple of dudes, Devontae Smith, and we'll just get into that breakdown first. Conor Worthy has beat a couple of dudes. Actually, we're going to start at the top because that's what most people are interested in. Conor Worthy has beat Luis Pena and Devontae Smith, two pretty decent prospects, but as far as his resume, it's just not super impressive. Even I picked him to lose to Devontae Smith. He got the first round knockout. And then Luis Pena, I mean, it's not like he's some world beater. So he's beat a couple guys that really aren't the cream of the crop. And then he lost his most recent fight. So I'm not super impressed with Kama Worthy, but we'll get there in just a little bit. Let's start with the main event. That's the fight that everyone wants to hear about. That's the fight everyone's here to see. Let's start with the main event. Francis Ngannou versus Stipe Miocic. This is a rematch to a fight Stipe Miocic won about 3 years ago. Now, given that, you know, definitely cannot take that first fight and expect that to happen in this fight. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pick Francis Ngannou to win this fight, and I'll explain why. He's since that fight, Francis Ngannou has had 3 years to become a way more well-rounded, wise MMA fighter, and he's shown this in the fights. He's knocked out Curtis Blades again. He's knocked out Cain Velasquez. He's knocked out Junior Dos Santos, and he's knocked out Jared Rosenstruck or Jairzinho Rosenstruck. Just all four killers Francis Ngannou has just murdered on his way back to this title shot. Stipe Miocic, on the other hand, has not been very active. He's had a child, I believe, his daughter, since the last fight. He's just in a completely different place. He's a lot more comfortable, a lot more settled, and Francis is as hungry as ever, as well-rounded as ever, on a tear. Francis Ngannou is a dangerous man, and I'm actually picking him to come in and get the win over Stipe Miocic. It's going to be a hell of a fight, and if he does win, we could see a trilogy, but I'm picking Francis Ngannou to win the title. Next, we've got former UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley taking on Vicente Luque. I think his nickname's like the Silent Killer or something. Vicente Luque, very respectable fighter, commendable fighter. He's never beat anybody inside the top 10 yet, so this will be that test for him. Tyron Woodley, a former champion, still ranked inside the top 10, and he's got everything to lose right now. His back is against the wall. He might even come in and fight the most boring fight possible just to get a win. But Tyron Woodley's days in the UFC are numbered. I mean, he's been kind of planning for his exit. He's been being smart with the acting and the music and the TMZ gig and the sportscasting. Tyron Woodley has been kind of planting his seeds for his life after fighting. He's no longer the champion, and actually, ever since he dropped the song "I'll Beat Your Ass," he's lost 15 rounds in a row. 3 fights, hasn't won a round. it hasn't been looking good for the former champion, the chosen one, Tyron Woodley. Now, I'm picking him to win this fight because, like I said, Vicente Luque has not beat anybody inside the top 10 yet, and Tyron Woodley's got everything to lose. I would imagine he hasn't been in the studio for this training camp, probably put the acting on hold for this training camp, and he's probably back in one of those champ camp type scenarios where he's putting his all into this fight. So I am going to pick Tyron Woodley to win this fight, and it doesn't do much for him, but it still puts him in the conversation of another big fight. So, got Tyron Woodley, got Francis Ngannou. Next, we got our boy, Sugar Sean O'Malley. Let's go. He's going to be fighting Thomas Almeida. I always get anxious and I get anxiety when Sean O'Malley fights because he almost feel like he's my little brother, even though we're super distant. Like, we've got a history with Sean O'Malley. We interviewed him before he got to the UFC, right after his viral Dana White Contender Series knockout, and we've interviewed him multiple times. Uh, all of that, and he's also just a very talented fighter. He's a very polarizing fighter. Love him or hate him, he's a very entertaining fighter. He's a fucking star, and I root for the kid. I know that. I mean, some of you might not, but I root for him personally. I think everything about him is dope. He grew up with a brother like me. I mean, he's competitive, gamer, like a lot of fucking things that we have in common on top of the history. So I'm always rooting for Sean O'Malley. I'm a little biased, but I don't give a fuck. He's also dangerous. He's dangerous on the ground. He's dangerous on the feet. Sorry if you guys hear that. Somebody outside the motel's kid is laughing, but it's all good. He's dangerous on the feet. He's dangerous on the ground. He's been doing grappling tournaments. He's very mentally sharp. I mean, Sean O'Malley is a dangerous kid, and he's going against Thomas Almeida, who's definitely it's a winnable fight for Sean O'Malley. Now, Thomas Almeida is no joke. Sean O'Malley's 12-1. Thomas Almeida is 22-4. He's got over double the experience. He's fought some good guys in the UFC. He's got almost as many UFC fights as Sean O'Malley has pro fights. Not quite, but he's close. That's dangerous. Sean O'Malley is still up and coming. He's still young. He's coming off of a layoff, so it's dangerous. But if Sean O'Malley can pass this test, this will be a mutual opponent with Cody Garbrandt. That would be fucking a good way to leverage kind of that Cody Garbrandt fight that we've all been wanting to see. If he can knock out Cody Garbrandt, and that's the argument Cody Garbrandt used to fight Dominic Cruz. I knocked out Takia Mitsugaki faster than you. Can Sean O'Malley knock out Thomas Almeida faster than Cody Garbrandt and maybe call him out? That would be sick. Submit him, some flying triangle type shit. Sean O'Malley will pull that type of shit off. He's a really good grappler. And if it goes to the feet, he's comfortable there. He's comfortable on the feet. I can't wait to see this fight, but I'm picking Sean O'Malley. Jillian Robertson versus Miranda Maverick. This is the fight that replaced Volkanovski versus Ortega. I'm definitely going to be picking Jillian Robertson. She is an underdog. I'm going to be picking her to win this fight. She's just game. She's game. She is a great grappler. She's experienced in the UFC. She trains with the best fighters in the world at American Top Team. And her opponent, on the other hand, Miranda Maverick, she's up and coming. She's young. She's a great prospect, but I don't think she's there yet. She hasn't fought anybody on the level of Jillian Robertson yet, so this will be a real test for Miranda Maverick. Miranda Maverick could pass this test, but Jillian Robertson has been proven to test, she's a great test for these girls. I remember when Molly McCann first came to the UFC, Jillian Robertson put her on her ass and tested that ground game and got that W, even though Molly McCann was like champion at Cage Warriors, I believe, before she came over. But she didn't have the ground game, and Jillian Robertson was one of them girls that showed that. And so she's one of those real tests, and she's going to be a real test for Miranda Maverick. And I just haven't seen enough from Miranda Maverick to assume that she can pass this test. So I'm going with Jillian Robertson. It's going to be a good fight, and I think this fight could have been on the pay-per-view over Kama Worthy and Jamie Malarkey already off tops. Now, let's go to this Malarkey. Kama Worthy and Jamie Malarkey. No disrespect to either fighter, but these guys, when we're talking about the best fighters of the best, these guys will never sniff the top 10 of the UFC. Maybe in a few years, maybe no, because I think Conor Worthy's like 33, 34. They'll never sniff the top 10, the top 15 ever. Neither one of these guys. So why are they on a UFC pay-per-view? I have no flipping idea. There's no way. You're paying $60 for a pay-per-view. What are y'all doing? Are you guys trying to make me boycott this card just because you're putting these guys on it? Why the hell would I spend my hard-earned money on this fight? Sorry. I mean, yeah, it can be a good fight, but I mean, I might as well just go watch every single organization. I'm here to watch the best of the best, the cream of the crop. Not just you guys, some newcomers and can just fodder you guys have signed that got a knockout or a highlight or two. That's just not me, but hey, I do like Kama Worthy in the sense of he got two good wins, Devontae Smith, Luis Pena. But other than that, man, that is all that is here. The win over Smith and the win over Pena. I had no idea. Malarkey was fighting guys that were like 3-3 before the UFC. Whatever. Hey, who's gonna win this fight? Don't know, don't care. I'm taking Jamie Malarkey just because everyone else is probably taking Kama Worthy. No one knows. I don't know. Kama Worthy, I guess on paper should win because he's got two decent wins, but it's not over. One of them was fluky and the other one wasn't over somebody that was great. I don't even know what to say about this fight. I'm just going to say I'm taking Jamie Malarkey just to be contrarian. So with that being said, my picks you can see over here. I'm taking Francis Ngannou, Tyron Woodley, Sean O'Malley, Jillian Robinson, and Jamie Malarkey. Those are my picks. Thank you guys for tuning in to the breakdown and prediction video for UFC 260. It's going down this weekend, March 27th. I'll be doing a live fight companion from the hotel room. Peace, quiet, and freedom. Namaste, my brothers and sisters. With that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. I am out.